I'm here. I never.
Welcome back, everyone, to Straight Talk, No BS. Tonight, we're going to have a discussion about how our past has directly affected our present lives. With this topic, I'm going to tell y'all, I can go on forever, for real.
Go ahead, back and forth. I see it moving, and I see
there has been so many people, inadvertently or directly, who has affected my present life due to the past things that they've done. But anyway, some of them are negative, some of them are positive. So tonight we're going to touch down on that. We're going to also have a guest speaker that's going to come in and talk to us from Crossroads Counseling Service. Cynthia, take over for a minute, okay?
Okay. Well, I'll start off by saying good evening to everybody. My topic for me would be touching on cerebral palsy. It's a form of disability. For me, cerebral palsy was a win, and I am the person with the cerebral palsy. I was born with it. It was so much that the government, or particularly doctors, told my mother that I would not be able to do. And for me, it was like, okay, she won't be able to walk or she will always need assistance, and she won't be able to have any children. Well, at 45, I'm here to say I have 3 children and 5 grandchildren. So when I say I pretty much beat the odds on cerebral palsy, the point that I want to make and have everybody understand, you may have a child or even adults that have a disability, but don't turn those people into a cripple. Let them figure out, or let them learn motor skills where they can be somewhat function for themselves. Not saying that they won't need the help, but the one thing that my mother taught me, is to have some type of independence for yourself. So anybody want to piggyback off that and tell me what you think? But that's something that happened in my past that still affect me today in my present. And I'm not saying that I'm not challenged by the cerebral palsy, because yes, it still affects me today as far as my physical being, but I'm still independent and getting around on my own when the cards were stacked against me.
Okay. Francis?
Well, I do have a question for Cynthia. So I remember when we were in school, did you ever, which I never saw it, but in school, did any of the people that we went to school with ever tease you?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. The bullying, it's a big thing today, but we needed that back in the 80s and 90s, because, yeah, I was bullied daily, because I didn't fit in, because I wasn't a popular kid, or because I walked a certain way, or I spoke a certain way. Because the way I grew up, I'm not going to just say we were poor, because my mother did the best that she could, but the way we grew up, we didn't have much. We were happy kids with what we had. But to say, was I bullied? Yeah, I was very much bullied.
Okay.
And some of the same people that bullied me in school see me today and want to act like, we're adult friends.
Mm-hmm.
All is forgiven because I'm grown and I've grown from what I learned. But that don't mean that didn't affect me as a child, because it did. And it affected me as an adult too, because you keep your guards up.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep, I was bullied.
Tanya, what about you? What in your past affected your present life?
I think my children affected me growing up, or not growing up, but it's affecting me now in my present. Raising my kids as a mom, I guess I had blinders on to my children because I made excuses for them, and never, like, if they did things that were wrong, or it caused shame for me for some reason, and my natural reaction was to just try to cover it up or make some kind of excuse, like, no, they didn't do that, or they didn't say that, or they didn't, someone come to me and say, well, yeah, your son or your daughter did blah blah blah, and I'm like, no, it's not like that, or I try to buffer it to make it not that bad. and I never saw my kids. It's like them growing up and raising them, it was almost like a blur. But for some reason, me getting older and starting to mature, I guess, in myself, and I see my kids and I actually see my children. Each individual, I have four of them, and they're 18, 20, 21, both two 21-year-olds. And I see them individually, each one of them, see them clearly now. And it makes me feel shamed and as a mama, because I feel like a failure. I didn't feel like that when they were growing up. They were younger, you know what I'm saying? But now I'm more into myself and know who I am and can parent, or I don't know what it is. It's just some kind of clarity, maybe because I'm in my 40s. I don't know, but I feel like the biggest failure. I see my children, I'm like, one of them, my youngest son, hasn't graduated. He didn't bring me a diploma. I'm not trying to put, my kids in the bus like that, but I just see things like, I see them and it is disappointing. It makes me feel bad as a mama. It's really affecting me, like maybe from my childhood and how I grew up and the things that I endured and saw, and that kind of mental something affected me actually being able to raise my kids into productive citizens in the world now. Thank goodness. It could be bad. It could be worse, but it's an eye-opening thing, and it really affects me now when I see them and I'm like, this is a disappointment.
So you're saying that it was hard for you to give discipline to your children because of the discipline that you received at home when you were growing up?
I saw any type of discipline, like just giving them some kind of structure punishment. I would not, because of what I endured. In my mind, I saw it being too much. So I went on the other side of the spectrum by not doing anything. And, by always saying yes, by never making them learn any type of lessons, it made them unruly. Judy,
Well, I'm just going to say don't give up, because most people, they don't realize actually what they want to do until they turn about 30. It took me turning 30 to realize what I wanted to actually do. Well, I guess not what I really wanted to do, but I realized that, hey, my life isn't going anywhere. I need to do something. So put it that way. So, I mean, there's still hope. I wouldn't give up. They're still in their teens. So they're going to make the same mistakes that we made.
Can I say this? And this is for you, Tanya, because my kids are a little bit different, but I also grew up in that era where, discipline was real strong in my mother's home. So when I say there was no holding back on what Sandra wanted to do, Sandra did what Sandra wanted to do, how she wanted to do it in her discipline role. But were you pulled off with your children? I went full force. I was my mother all over.
And see, that's what I didn't want to do. I was afraid of that. Case in point, I'm gonna give you a for instance. My youngest son had did some crazy disrespectful crap. He had took some, I'm just gonna put it out there, I'm gonna say the whole story and keep it real. That boy, he decided that he was gonna take a alcoholic drink to school, because he was doing his little thing with the neighborhood thugs and kids or whatever. And he took a drink to school, and we get a call from the principal saying, your son had brought this alcoholic drink or whatever, I forget what it was, a beer or some kind of crap, and he says that we put it in his lunch. Like, this is what we do, and so that was embarrassing or whatnot. So anyway, we dealt with the principal. He got his little punishment at school or whatever, and then he came home, so he gonna get it from us too. And the natural thing is, I needed to get in his ass for some crazy stuff that he did, right? Righteously so. He needed to be punished for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I couldn't do the punishment myself. Judy, she's the more disciplinary one, and she was getting ready to, punish him, give him his whatever spats or whatnot and so forth. But it's like I caught some kind of flashback in my head from when I got punished, and I intervened. I jumped in and it wasn't anything abusive. It wasn't nothing crazy left field. It was just regular getting in your kid's ass, fussing, whatever. But for some reason, this mental here from back in the past, I intervened and stopped that. Like, You know, and you know that sent all kind of crazy messages to my son.
She took it as if I was abusing her child, even though I was sitting there and I was spanking my child and her child. You know, it was like a lick on your butt. But the way that he reacted was like, oh my God, I'm dying. So she jumped in and, you know, and felt like she just had to save her son, even though she didn't know me all these years and know I've never been abusive, never. But
children know how to play that end of the spectrum. They know how to play that guilt.
Yes.
Francis, what you think about it?
Spare the rod, spoil the child.
You're going to say the verse for me one more time.
Yes.
Okay, if you spare the rod, you spoil the child. And it teaches them in their adult life that it sends the message that they could do what they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it, and there's no punishment for it.
Yep.
And that's the wrong attitude for them to have, because they end up getting into certain situations and think that, okay, ain't nothing gonna happen to me, but they're gonna end up doing it, and it's gonna be in a situation where it's gonna be around somebody else who feel disrespected by what they do. They have no morals or no manners. That's what they're gonna think. And next thing you know, all hell will break loose. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have some kind of foundation. You have to have some structure. You have to, you know what I'm saying? It's one thing to let them experience the teenage life, you know.
That's one thing.
But I, you know, that's one thing. But you also have to have limits with that. You know, you have to have rules in your house. Like I've seen, you know, people have rules even though they child about 17. Don't you come in my house after a certain time? You know what I'm saying? You still have to respect the household. You still have to respect your parents. So, you know.
Well, Francis, I want to hear something that you went through in your past that is still causing some kind of effect on you in this present time. That's what I want to hear. Share that with us, please.
Of course, mine can stem from childhood myself, but the part that I'm going to dive in would be, it is going to be the growing up part. Always, I didn't have nobody there to guide me or somebody I can go talk to. If I wanted to talk to anybody, it was going to be Judy. I didn't have, you know what I'm saying? And within my family, nah, wasn't no open door policy. And if she heard that you did something, she wasn't asking you no questions. So I was hit with anything from a belt to extension cord to curtain rods, whatever she can get her hand on. Hell, she threw a butcher knife at me one time, you know. And so it taught me how to, well, let me back up. What I used to say is when I have kids, I will not do my kids that same way. To this day, I have yet to do my kids like that. I never have. But in the same aspect, it also kind of hardened me to the point to where I have limitations that I probably shouldn't have limitations on. You know,
when you say limitations, what do you mean?
Meaning what I will and won't tolerate. Anything in my life that I feel is a disrespect, anything in my life that I feel is, you know, betrayal, I don't feel I should have to deal with this. So it got me to the point to where I try to understand, you know, what's from another person's perspective. But in my mind, I wouldn't dare, whatever was going on. I'm like, I wouldn't dare let that happen. Like I used to say all the time, Carolyn used to beat men, then cut them up. And I used to always ask them, why do y'all allow her to do that? And I always said, there's no way in hell I'm going to let a man put his hands on me. And so dealing with the abuse from the childhood, the abuse from the childhood, the abuse when I had got married, it, like I say, it got me to a point where my toleration for stuff is damn near zero.
Oh, okay.
And I actually don't like that, because I do want to be more understanding. I do want to be that person that listens. I do want to be that person that, you know what I'm saying, a person can come to. But I also know I do have that demeanor where people look at me and they be like, shit, I ain't finna fuck with her. You know? And people be taking what I say the wrong way. Like my voice right now, people get that misconstrued with the voice of me being mad. And it's not me being mad, it's just that shit, I stand stern in what I say.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And it's not me being hard or nothing like that. Now, when I get pissed, then you'll be able to tell the difference. If you thought what I was saying, I guess it's because when I come direct, I come full direct. So people take it as me being mean.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not me being mean. I just don't want cutting. I'm not finna cut no corners for you.
Okay. Judan?
Yeah, that's the thing.
There are so many things, but one thing
Judy.
that I totally can't stand is when somebody judges another person by the way they speak. They think just because a person speaks so proficient that they are so intelligent, right? They think the person that doesn't speak so proficient is ignorant or incompetent. I can't
That's right.
stand it. I can't stand it.
Mhm.
You know, for many years I've done business in different countries. I mean, Philippines, Japan, Korea. And so for all of those people that I've done business with, I was used to breaking down my English so they would understand. So when I got back to America and I started talking to my American friends, they looking at me like, dang, Judy, you can't speak English? I was too busy trying to build back up my English because I didn't forgot it. So instead, they judged me and they said, oh, you know what? She's incompetent. I don't know much as Tanya does because
Which I
Judy.
you kind of cut out, but definitely I understand what you're saying, and have witnessed
Tanya speaks
several times that situation. You know what I'm saying? And I don't understand the label. I get it so much. I've gotten it from as early as I can remember. Oh, you sound this way, or you sound, you know, like a white person or whatever. And it's like, you know, to me it's almost insulting. I don't like to hear that.
What are you doing?
You know. So, you know, Judy, I've witnessed, you know, people treating you a type of way and acting like, especially at work. I don't understand that. I don't understand people.
No, what is funny is when you go somewhere, say for instance, you go to a restaurant or you go to a convenience store and you just got on a t-shirt and some shorts and they treat you like you're nobody. And I did this little thing with Tanya. I said, I'm going to go back home. I'm going to come back to this same store. I'm going to have on my lab coat. I came back with my lab coat and my stethoscope. And now I'm getting all the respect in the world.
Boy.
Now my money's good. It's crazy.
I've been in that circle before. I went shopping, and being that I did security work, you know, you learn to have a certain eye for things that you see. And so I was in this particular store shopping, and they had the officer following me around. And I literally went to the manager and told them, pulled out my wallet, had my money in my wallet. I will not do business in this store. And she tried to play it down like he wasn't following me. And then when I pulled out my security badge, not an officer, but you are trained to look for certain things, and you know when someone's following you. So when I pulled out my little security badge and my license to carry, I said, we're in the same field, sir. I'm not stupid. And I took my money and I left.
What did he say to you?
He apologized. But that's about all. But I still didn't shop in that store. And I don't want to put the store on blast, but it was pretty bad. I was in there buying clothes for my kids for school.
You know what? I'm not, you know, maybe, I don't know if this is necessarily off topic, but what about racism? I'm just saying, you know, dealing with that as when you're young, and then it still has an effect on you when you're older. I mean, anybody got a particular because when you mentioned the store, just kind of.
Of course.
I dealt with racism, but it wasn't because I was Black. It was because of my disability. I was prejudged off of my disability and what I could not do. And then when I turned around and showed the people what I could do, I didn't keep that job. I seriously walked off that job because you doubt me, but you can't doubt me. I'm the person, when you tell me what I can't do, even if I can't do it, I'm gonna kill myself trying to figure out how to do it. And then once I try it myself and I realize myself that I can't do it, okay, I can't do it. But I don't let people put limitations on what I can't do for myself. But I've lost 2 or 3, 4 jobs because of my disability. Because it's not just the cerebral palsy. I have seizures, so they look like you're a risk. We can't afford to keep you on. We don't have insurance to cover you for that. And it was only one company I worked for that I respected. A lot of people say, you could have sued him for that, but he sat me down in that office and he explained to me that he was just a mom and pop store. He didn't have the government funding to cover me. And I walked away and I held my head up and I thanked him for coming to me and talking to me and not just firing me.
Yep, at least he gave you that respect. That's good. Okay, not many people do that.
For instance, like
sorry. Go ahead, Francis.
I was going to say, like Cynthia was saying about the seizures. Well, Carolyn, she also has seizures. And girl, I used to have to get on her all the time because she would try to go, she want to go get a job. And I know for her, it was the fact of she's always did everything herself. So she want to keep doing it herself. So she wouldn't try to let the seizures stop her. And I used to have to explain to her, you are a high risk for business because, in having, if you're standing and one hits you and you hit that floor, you could bust your head open, you can crack your face, you could do anything, hurt yourself in any kind of way. And business tend not to have some of them tend not to be able to cover that, but then you have some who are not willing to.
Yeah, it's a difference in not being willing to and then just not having the funds to cover it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Judy, what are you about to say?
Well, I was about to say, as far as racism, it's sad that when you're Black, you run away from the cops. When you're Caucasian, you're happy to see the cops. But anyway, that's been the story of my life. Anytime I see them, I get nervous. I instantly get tense. Blood pressure go up. I don't feel safe. And it just seems like they tend to, when they see, you remember that time when we were going to Italy. We were going to Italy, me and Tanya. And this cop, he followed us for like 40 miles. I am not kidding. 40 miles. Just to
his ass is outside his jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I hate to interrupt y'all, but like I told y'all, we was going to have a guest on. Her name is Christia Rogers. She used to play with me with the Dallas Diamonds as a running back also. So I'm honored to have her on. She's a counselor now. I believe the name of her company is Bridges to Crossroads. So she's going to come on and she's going to discuss with us how to get past your past.
Wow.
And you can ask whatever you like to ask when she comes on. So I'm going to bring her on now. Christia, how you doing?
Hey,
how you doing?
Welcome, my people.
Welcome.
Hey. How are y'all doing?
This is Christia, like I said. This is she played with me on the Dallas Diamonds and everything. And now she's a counselor, so she's here to try to help us out, answer some of our questions.
Yes, I'm here for it, guys. Sorry for the delay.
Oh, it's not.
What's going on with this internet?
Always something. Always.
Yeah, but I work on it, though. I do it on a regular basis. I use it for telehealth, so.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
Here we are. Trying to get it
so what do you think about some of our issues so far?
Oh my goodness. I hear it all the time. My biggest thing is that we end up being prisoners of our past, you know, prisoners of our past, and but we don't have to be victims of it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
totally.
Yeah. So, even though all the drama and all the negativity that we've been through, and it leaves a bad taste in your mouth a lot
Yes,
of
it
times.
does. Yes, it
And
does.
it's a struggle to even speak to some people.
Oh my God. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
But for a peace of mind, and I know this is going to be a struggle, but the word is forgiveness.
Ooh. That's a challenge. I have to say that one would be a challenge because of so much guilt. And you think back to what I could have did or should have did better. I mean, I'm still using my kids, the example that I gave at first. It's like, man, I feel guilty because as a mama, my job was to raise them to be better, and they're not. So that's a whole level of guilt, knowing that I have something to do, or at least I do feel I have a lot to do with their shortcomings.
Well, like I said, their environment, just like you guys, we've all lived in a rocky past. I mean, I'm just going to speak for everybody. We didn't have maybe the ideal um life growing up, that we always wanted. And so we try to give our kids that, right?
Yes.
Right. You know, and all of our kids have different resiliency, just like we do. So just a little bit about myself. I grew up in an uber strict household, like uber strict. Like I should have probably been wearing a chastity belt as much as
Okay,
I'm serious.
understand
Okay,
that.
don't play, don't
Hey,
play.
I'd like to see you running that.
But it's for real. I mean, and so growing up that way, it's like you feel so restricted. You feel so restricted. So for my son, I didn't want him to be so restricted. Like should have been seen and not heard. Just because I was a child, I didn't have an opinion. Um, so now when I became an adult, I do a lot of talking now. I have
Yeah.
a whole bunch of soapboxes that I get on from time to time, like you guys, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So we try to, be different for our kids. And, we sometimes we just have to trust that what we did is the
Is
best
enough.
for them.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am. That's it.
And pray that
That's it.
they at least they take 10% of what we taught them.
Well, okay,
Amen.
that's sad.
I'll
Only
take
10.
10%.
Hey, because that's their journey, not ours.
That's right.
And that's a hard thing to realize also. They have their own life, and it's time for me to live my own, do what I'm doing, because at the end of the day, them kids are not they're not gonna be here for me.
Amen. Okay. See, there it is.
You know, like what did I tell you you guys the other day when we said we were gonna have the segment on kids. Our
Right.
kids, just because they're a product of us, does not make them us. And a lot of parents, they kind of get this thing that whatever they didn't do as they were growing up, then they want their kids to do. So they start to
Mm,
live through their kids, and they have to.
right.
We have to understand that what we didn't get to do, that's our fault. We have to let them be them.
That's
You
right.
know, you have to let them
Absolutely.
be who they are, and like you were saying, in hopes that they do take at least some of what we said and use it.
Hmm. That's it.
We're not going to be there to save them. So therefore, like you say, once they hit the other side of that door, when they leave that house, we just gotta pray.
That's it.
I
That's
have a
it.
question. Okay, she's a counselor, so, and I'm not weak by far. Okay, I'm strong headed and I'm bullheaded. Let me just say that.
Hmm.
Um, but how do you get across to someone with any form of disability that's trying to find their own independence? How do you get across to someone that it's okay to be who you are and not be afraid to leap? And I say that because I've been challenged with going back to some form of school, even if it's a trade school. And my fear is because of my seizures, I won't be able to retain the information that I need to retain because seizures does that for you. You will lose thought of memory.
Right. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, with that, you have to set up safeguards. Okay. So, such as, utilizing what you got. So, I'm a big note taker. So, I have notes everywhere. They have new kind of technology that you can like video chat and keep your notes and so forth, trying to figure out what works for you,
Right.
and just don't let that be your limitation, for
I agree.
disability. And you're gonna have challenges. We all have challenges, that have happened, like broken legs or, illnesses that knock you out the park, So don't let that be your limitation. Just try to step outside of your mind. So sometimes you just have to be quiet and think about, okay, what is going to be my next best move? What can I do? Oh, you know what? I can do tutoring. Do you have
Okay.
somebody that could tutor with you?
Oh yeah,
Um,
Judy and Tanya.
okay. Okay.
To put
You
us to
know,
work on the payroll.
there you go.
Too.
Note exchange. What's a good one is, even though that that you have them to study with, I would suggest like exchanging notes. Like, you do your best with keeping up with the notes, but then also confer with them and see what they have versus what you got.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and I'd get a voice recorder too. Those are pretty inexpensive. Or your phone. I forget about our phones do everything.
So, what's your advice for, like, she asked, how does she convey that concern of hers to someone else that's wanting her to
Oh,
advance and look
someone
for
else.
something else?
Oh, for someone else to convey that, to continue to be maybe your accountability partner, or that you have struggled.
Cynthia, tell her. You're tell her.
Yeah,
I'm
Miss
the
Cynthia.
person. I'm the person I kind of struggle in that area. That's why I say I'm strong minded and I'm not easily forced left or right.
Okay.
But my biggest fear, like I said, is my seizures itself. I don't
Okay.
want to start going on this journey to school or trade school or even online, and then I can't keep up with it due to the growth of the seizures.
I got you. Okay, that makes sense. I got you now. Okay, so they had. Do you are you active with the American Disabilities Act?
Yes.
Okay, so you can ask for like extended time for certain
Okay.
things. Okay,
Okay.
and I don't know if that's the struggle, that you don't feel confident enough about speaking up for yourself. Is that what I'm
No, no,
hearing?
no. I no, I
Okay.
no. I ain't scared to speak up.
Okay. Good. Okay. Well, well, with the American Disabilities Act, you can speak up and say, "Hey, look, this is what's going on," and and those, if they pop up, your seizures are popping up, and I know that stressors happen, and it could exacerbate them. So when those things happen, have like a safety plan in place. Like,
Okay.
okay, when this happens, XYZ needs to happen. If this happens and I'm out for an extended period of time, I need to start this. Because with the American Disabilities Act, if you have a medical condition that keeps you from, you know, being in school on a consistent basis, you can
Hmm.
ask for extended time. Like, if it comes down to the end of the semester, they should be able to give you an incomplete.
Okay.
So you're not flunking. They should. If they're accredited school, they don't want their name tarnished. So
Okay.
Mhm.
all you have to do is speak up and say, "Hey, I told you guys in the beginning that every 2 weeks I got to go to the doctor and I won't be here, or
Okay.
I got to get a checkup, or I look at the flare ups. It could be seasonal. So
Okay.
you can do that. So if you can kind of do that prior to whenever you get started, and tell them what the expectation is. You set that expectation. They should be able to accommodate you.
So,
Okay.
Francis, are there any questions you would like to ask Miss Christie?
Yeah, come on, Miss
You
Chris.
must have seen, you must, hold on, you must have seen me right.
I sure
I
did.
did.
I
I
sent
seen
you.
them gears turning. That mind was just working. Yes, it was. Yes, ma'am. I
Okay,
said she
my
quiet. She
question
quiet.
is,
Ain't saying nothing. That them gears just going. Yep, seen it.
I seen
You
all.
okay,
got my
so
Francis.
hey. Okay, so my question to you would be, how do you explain to somebody that you have forgiven them for what they've done in the past, but in the midst of telling them that you forgive them, they still will not acknowledge any wrongdoing?
They
Ah,
won't now they won't acknowledge what you're doing, like as to
no,
your apology.
No,
they won't acknowledge
no, they
their
won't
wrongdoing.
acknowledge the fact that their wrongdoings. Like the reason
Oh,
that I'm forgiving them, but you know, like I say I come to you and I apologize because you've done something wrong to me, but you refuse
hmm
to acknowledge that you did anything wrong.
oh,
So
I got you.
how
All right.
is I, yeah,
Well, forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for you.
which that
Amen.
well yeah that
So
and that part I know,
yeah, so
but I
they
think
so
for
oh, say it again. You cut out. I'm sorry. Did anybody hear
oh
that? I'm
I
sorry, I
was
missed
simply
it. Francis.
saying that no because I had stopped talking.
Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
so what I'm saying is it. So what I'm is even though I know that when you forgive somebody, it isn't for them. I know it's for you to free you of any kind of um, grudge or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like it bothers me when somebody doesn't acknowledge that they have done wrong, and I don't know why it bothers me, but it do.
Yeah,
So
unfortunately, you're never going to get the answer or the response that you want.
I say
It
choose
usually
your
doesn't
battle.
happen. Yeah, choose your battles.
yeah,
I mean, unless and unfortunate, like if it has to be a relative or somebody that you're going to be around all the time, and you really want them to apologize for their part too. Not everybody can go. Not everybody's going to elevate to that next level of forgiveness and move on with their lives. Some people like to stay in their mess,
right.
and so you get to choose what you
Mm-hmm,
want to do with it. If you want to, every time you see them, to be like, "Hey, man, I've already apologized to you. I'm
mm-hmm.
trying to do better." You know, that's sometimes that's a waste of energy.
Ooh.
And also,
Yeah,
I,
because I was
because
just gonna say that I know that my mom,
mhm.
she says that she loves her life the way that it is because she's a well she's since she's been in a nursing home she hasn't had a chance to do any drugs, but at one point it was like she loved her life the way that it was and she cared nothing for her kids. So it's like trying to get her to like be like, dang, did you really say that, or was it the drug or was it her?
Right. Oh man, yeah. If they're not ready, we can't make them ready.
Mm-hmm.
That's
You
right.
know,
That's true.
unfortunately, forgiveness is not reconciliation. That doesn't mean that that y'all are going to be buddy buddy or friends, or it doesn't mean necessarily that
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be mended. It doesn't mean that you're going to forget the injustice. It doesn't mean that you're excusing them. It's not like it's okay that you ran all over me, or you know or used me or whatever, and you're not giving them mercy for it. I mean, that's something that they have to deal with. But forgiveness is,
Mhm.
treating other people with compassion. It's letting go of the resentment and the anger and the
Now,
shame
see,
that comes with it.
that part is the hard part. Letting
Oh
go
yeah.
of the resentment and the anger, because that, I know, like what Frances said about her mom. I have some of that as far as my dad. So it's like you're saying forgiveness is for myself. Well, I don't really even understand how I can. I don't even understand how to work that out. I really don't, because I just keep harboring the ugly, and it doesn't go anywhere. It just festers, and
And
nothing's getting resolved.
right. And so what happens is, what if you did let go of the anger and the resentment? What would happen if you did?
I guess I would probably make me a happier person. I don't
So
know.
what are you afraid of
Mhm.
then?
I,
Ooh.
I don't know. That's something to think about, because
That's a
it's
good
like,
question. That was a good question.
So what are you afraid of?
Yeah,
Because
that really was.
forgiveness is for you.
Mhm.
I guess not, there's nothing
So
to be
then I would
afraid of
have.
if that's the case, because
Mhm.
I don't know. You
Francis was
got me.
trying to say
I'm
Okay,
something.
thinking.
Tanya.
Well, Tanya, I'm gonna
Tanya,
say
this is for Tanya.
okay.
Okay. Are you are you afraid it will ease enough pain, up off of your shoulders, and you don't know how to react to that? Like
Mm,
you're so used to having all that ball, and so used to everything weighing you down, so used to having that anger that you're afraid that once it's gone, you have nothing.
mm. Woo. Come on, friend. Come on.
Well, I'm gonna interrupt right here, and I'm gonna say this. I truly believe that Frances is speaking for herself right now.
Mm. All right, come
I
on.
think you're speaking for yourself.
Wait,
No need to hide. Come on out and let us know what's going
on which
on.
That's
part?
right.
That statement that you just made,
On what part?
that you're afraid to let everything go. I believe that you're
Well,
afraid to
me.
forgive. Yeah.
Do
Wait,
you
forgive
feel that
who?
way?
Carolyn?
Yes. Your mom.
Oh, no. See, the deal with me and Carolyn, I've already forgiven her. That's why I told her that the when she said it's for you, I know it's for me because I've already done that part. My issue was her just admitting that she even did anything. But I realized that she wasn't going to admit to nothing. I had to let that go. So that's why I now take care of her. I don't argue
Oh,
with her. I don't
good
say
deal.
anything nasty to her. You know what I'm saying? All that has passed. But I wanted to know because I was trying to figure out whenever I get around her, like she constantly brings up like past, or she'll say that what happened to her in the past, and we would always try to. I would sit down and try to talk to her, even just if us talking clarified some things for me or tried to help her past what she was past. Because once I started helping her, that right there told me all that was out the window. The day that I went down there and saw her on life support, everything else was a done deal for me.
Amen.
Right.
You got
That was a
clarity.
done deal.
Okay.
That's good. That's good. And
Huh?
hopefully down the road for your mom, that hopefully she finds it. Unfortunately, right now she's still hiding. She's not ready to open up and to admit any wrongdoing. And,
No.
you know,
That, yeah, that I.
yeah, she's not ready. And just like we were just talking about those fears, you know, what's the fear, of saying that, yes, I did something wrong as a parent? Just like Tanya was saying about, us and our children, we don't want to admit anything we did wrong to our kids. Of course, we are a better generation. We're trying to do better by our kids. But just think about your mom. She didn't come from that kind of generation. You know what I'm saying? It's like what we say goes.
Old school.
So, yes,
Yep.
old school. So she's not going
Yep.
to admit that she did anything wrong. And then here comes the guilt.
Yep.
Because if you say anything about it, then it's just like, well, I'm your mom. You know, I did the best I could with you. I mean, I didn't have to do XYZ. You know, it's that whole guilt. Well, I've heard that before, but, you know, so, you know, that's their
Yeah.
mindset, which leaves them stuck.
Gotcha.
I don't know if I
Yeah.
was ready for this segment
Yep.
just yet, but since we're talking about parents, my mother was taken away from me real quick at a young age. I was 18, and I lost my father some years later to liver cancer. He had hepatitis C, and it turned into the liver cancer, but I don't think he dealt with his hepatitis C. And I say that because with my mother at 18, I felt like it was so much stuff that I didn't know at 18. And I was literally a child having a child. I got pregnant with my son at 17. So a lot of stuff that I learned along the way as an adult, I grew up with my children. With that being said,
Mm.
Frances is saying that, you know, she's forgiven her mom and she's taking care of her mom. I will give 2/4 a nickel and a whole ass to be able to just hear my mother's voice one more time. Just, I mean, I still harbor those feelings at 45, you know, just want that whisper in my ear. And Judy can vouch for this for me, what I'm about to say about my old man. I fought with my daddy tooth and nail. I'm talking about like we were husband and wife. I would pay his rent because my father could not stay with me. He tried to whoop me with a leather belt in my own apartment, okay? And I was 33.
Oh, no.
And so the police had to get him to leave. But the point that I'm making is, Francis and Tanya, Tanya, your mother has moved on. So we both know that aspect of death. But with your father, let it ride. Because if I could hear my dad one more time, you better go get that goddamn bill. And I mean, you better go get that bill right now. Baby, I'll be across the bridge. You heard me? I'll buy my whole case. I will buy my whole case. And
I'm gonna step
friends,
in. Okay.
go ahead, Judy.
I'm gonna step in real quick and say the reason why she can't forgive her father is
I was
because
just about to say that.
before she can forgive him, he's messing up again. He's
Oh,
doing
Lord.
the thing that he
Oh,
said that
Lord.
he was. He's saying that he's doing the same thing that he apologized for and said that he would never do.
Oh,
Oh,
didn't we just talk
And
about that in the last segment?
so how
Yeah.
can you forgive someone for something that they just keep doing? You know, he doesn't give her enough time to forgive him before he messes up again. And
And
plus,
this,
and plus it's messing up her home life. Well, her family. Tony, if you
and
want to elaborate on it, you know, I'll let you elaborate on it. Because I know
I
I
mean,
don't know how much you
this
want me to
is
say.
this is stemmed from my, you know, the topic of today is things that have affected you when your childhood that it now affects you in your adult life. Well, it continues to. My, you know, there was some sexual abuse when I was younger, with my mom's second husband. And so when she remarried her third husband, who pretty much raised me from 7 all the way, you know, he's still living. So, you know, there was still him knowing what I went through with my mom's second husband. He should have been very aware of what not to do, but there was still things that he did, that was still inappropriate. And it just, you know, it went through on my, as long as we lived together or whatnot, you know, and it was really, it was bad. So it came to the point where I finally was able to address it and let it out because it was a secret that nobody knew about. I told my mom, you know, my family, everybody finally found out about it. And so, okay, he comes to me with a big apology, and it's like, okay, that took a hit on our relationship. Even my siblings, everybody, it took a big hit. Even my relationship, it took a hit, that whole episode. But we kind of muddled through it. Okay. but he still could. And I say, when you say forgiveness, it's like, okay, I want to forgive you because all the times that I had with my dad was not bad. And I think my mind and my spirit wants to hold on to those good memories, because he raised me. My biological dad, I didn't get to know him until I was damn near, 36 or something like that. I was older. And so he raised me. He's all I know as a father figure. So I try to hold on to those good memories and block out all those bad. So when he apologized, it's like, okay, yes, I forgive you because I want to have my dad that I know in the good light, not the bad light. But I can't because he's still any type of communication. I take a break when he does something stupid. I say I can't talk to this man, and then it'll go months, and then finally I'll reach back out and I'll say something and give him an update on the family. And in that midst of that conversation, he still does something stupid and inappropriate. And so therefore, it's like I can't get over it. I can't forgive. I can't. It's like, what do I do? And it really has affected my home life. My because Judy sees this, she's like, because I don't deal with it in a different type of way, or I don't put a stop to it, or I don't know exactly how she's feeling. And it makes me feel like, what is she wondering about me? She said, is she thinking that I'm enjoying whatever kind of crazy this is going on? And it's just a really frustrating, twisted, I don't know, but I can't
convoluted.
Past it.
Yeah, it's very convoluted, and I don't know if have you ever heard of Stockholm syndrome?
No, what's that?
Okay, so what it is you've heard of it? Who's heard of it? Judy,
Yes.
yeah, and also and Cynthia, yeah. So okay, so what it is basically is your capture, or your abuser, you take the side of. So, like you said, there was good times, in the midst of all of this sexual abuse, but you still long to have a relationship with them. There's nothing wrong with that at all, but it puts you in a position where you're not able to heal. So, go ahead. Cynthia, did you have something?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I was sipping on my tea.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was like, is that our finger going up? But and so what happens is that you are ripping the band-aid off again every time you talk to him, because you haven't healed. You are talking to him and like, okay, this is gonna be different. You're gonna talk to him. Oh, this is a great conversation. Then at the end, he snatches that band-aid right off, and you're vulnerable once again, and it triggers you back to that traumatic spot. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, you hit it on the point. I mean, you hit it. You're right on. Right on.
So that's compounded trauma that you're enduring, and you're allowing it to happen. So he's not ready for this relationship. I'm just going to be very honest with you. He's not ready for a healthy relationship. Okay. So you've got to decide what you're ready for.
I'm not ready to continue, because if it can't be the way that I am now, where I am now, if it cannot be where we talk in the respectable way, I mean, it's almost like I carry some resentment, because it's like, dang, don't you understand what you did and what you continue to do? Why apologize for it? What was your apology for? It meant shit. So you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so, I feel like now it's as much as I want to have a relationship or whatever, it's almost like, well, I hope nothing happens to you, but I don't want to talk to you.
Well, he continues to do that and repeatedly does it because you're allowing it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you would not respond, I know that this is your father that that raised you, but so just think. Let's use an example like our kids, okay? So your kid's like, "Oh, mom, I want some ice cream." No, you don't. You're not gonna get any ice cream right now. Mom, can I get some ice cream? Mom, can I get some ice cream? So we keep engaging with our kids, and so they're gonna keep asking until our head blows off, right?
Right.
So you're almost at that point where your head is about to blow off. because you're exposing yourself to that. And it's good, and I know your heart is good, and you want to forgive and move on, but he's not ready, and you can't control him. You can only control yourself in your
Amen to that.
response, to him.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So I mean, it takes a lot. I'm not saying that, and I know I am not trying to sound flip, because it is easier said than done.
Oh yeah.
That's the reason I'm a therapist because it takes repetitive, talking and rewriting your narrative, and getting the self-confidence that you need, to move on, allowing yourself to transition to a person that doesn't have to have drama,
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
so
Girl, I think
it's a
I
lot of
need a
work.
one-on-one counseling, child.
Okay, when do we
Well,
sign up for your services? When?
before she leaves, she's gonna give her information and everything,
I
and I'll
will.
have it.
Yes, I will. I will. Miss Francis, did you have something to add to that?
Yeah.
Okay, I got to figure out.
To this is for Tanya.
Yes, ma'am.
What you say, Judy?
Not a thing,
Um,
darling.
what Miss Rogers was saying, which I do agree with, because with Carolyn, before I got to the place that I'm at now with her, it was the constant thing of, she would say something to me, just I knew she was doing it to get under my skin, because she knew she can get a reaction out of me.
Mm,
If she was, she was the type of person that she likes a lot of drama. If everything is quiet and it's going good, she's going to stir up something because it's too quiet for her. She has to have the chaos. And I remember when I brought her to live with me. And when I brought her to live with me, I'm thinking, okay, I can get her off the drugs. We can take her and get her some help and all of this. Girl, I became every name in the book. I caught her like outside, because I told her I didn't want no men in my house. And girl, she was outside flirting with the man down a couple of doors down. It became I had to call the police on her, because she instead of me fighting with her, I didn't want to have to do that, girl. But she pulled a socket wrench, and girl was gonna hit me with it.
oh no.
So
Oh man.
and I started realizing that she's going, as long as she could piss me off, she's going to keep doing it. As long as she knows she could, get under my skin and ruin my
Push
whole
your
day,
buttons.
she's going to
Yes,
keep
ma'am.
doing it. There's
Yes,
one,
ma'am.
yeah, there's one thing that I don't, when it comes to this one particular thing, like the incident with her son, that I don't talk about. I don't bring him up. She does. Now, what I will do, if I'm on the phone with her and she brings him up, I won't lie. I will hang the phone up in her face. That
Do
is
you
one
mind,
thing I'm not.
Francis? Do you mind sharing? Do you mind sharing with everybody what happened?
Mhm.
I mean, you don't have to go into it very deep, but just so they'll know.
No. I don't have a problem with that. It
You
was a
keep it
guy that
brief.
I was dating. Huh?
I say you don't have to go all the way into it. Just keep it brief.
Oh, it's it was a guy that I was dating. My brother was in the pen. He got out the penitentiary. He came to where I lived. In the midst of me and my boyfriend at the time trying to help my brother get on his feet and everything, I don't know what his issue was, but put like this, my brother ended up taking me through a lot of things. He messed up my car, kicked my door in. My brother in turn turned around and he killed the guy that I was dating right in front of me.
Oh my God.
So when he did that, while when it happened, I remember I heard the gunshot, I grabbed my head and I'm screaming. What I did not realize at that particular time was I had already stepped over my boyfriend's body twice. I didn't realize that. So when that happened, and I realized he was now laying on the floor. I heard like the little gurgling sound. So I kneeled down beside him and I'm thinking everything's okay. I'm telling him to get up. And did not know though was as I was kneeling down, my brother had back in the house and he had told my homegirl who he was dating, he told her, she asked him, where are you going? He said, I'm going back inside to finish off everybody in the house. I was the only person left in the house. My homegirl told me that he entered the front door. Where it happened was in the middle of the living room, close to the hallway. So I was kneeled down, and I didn't know that he actually had walked up behind me and put the gun to the back of my head 3 times.
Jesus.
I didn't find that out until after that. So the reason that I don't talk to her about that is because she always blames it on me. She always tells me it's my fault that I'm the one that caused him to go back to the people. Um, the
Wow.
only subject that I will
I
not
know.
speak to her about.
I
So
understand why
yeah,
you don't talk to her about that.
yeah. So it's like, but like I was telling you, the part where if you give them enough room to keep pushing your buttons, they're going to continue to do it. Like
Yes, they
remember
will.
when we first had, and at the end of the segment, what did I say to you? I said, you are your own remote control. If
Mm,
they keep pushing the buttons, what do?
Take the
Take
batteries
the
out.
batteries out.
That's
that's
it.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. If they don't have any energy, they can't function.
Yeah,
Oh man,
yeah.
did you get any counseling for that, Francis?
um, not really.
That's how it is, old
I
school.
actually,
Yeah.
no. The person that I did go to see, I don't like. Okay, put it like this. I don't like to go to talk to somebody and they don't talk back. I hate.
Oh,
I don't want to talk to somebody and they have no feedback. I don't want
gotcha.
to. I
Yeah.
don't like to sit there and just talk to you and looking at me like this. I don't like it. So what
And
I
you got
did
a whole
was in
notepad like
turn,
I'm a psychological person or something.
Well, you know what, guys? This is a good
well,
part to tell you guys. I recommend all the time to my clients, shop around. Shop around, you guys. I
Got to
mean, I
shop
know
around
that.
for when we got you.
That's
What we
right.
Let us know. Let us know what we need to do. Let the world know
you
right
know,
now. What do we need to do?
you can't be on straight talking. Then you want us to go shopping. We do shopping.
Well,
Yes,
hey,
ma'am.
well, Judy knows me, and she knows that I'm not for everybody.
mm-hmm,
Because it's about action. You know, just like
mm-hmm,
you were saying, for instance, and that's true because I had a counselor as well, and if you didn't look like me, I had my own feeling that you couldn't understand me.
Right.
Number
Mm-hmm.
one, okay.
mm-hmm.
Number two, if you just sit there and don't give me homework, don't talk to me about how to fix it, I've
Yes.
got a problem.
Mm-hmm.
so
Yes.
so I
Yep.
Yes.
I think it's very important to find somebody that is going to match what you need and at the time. Okay. Now in the very beginning, you may need somebody that is just gonna listen and let you emote and let you cry or yell or whatever. But then what are we gonna do to fix this?
Yes.
How can we heal? That's not really fixing it, but we do have to heal in order to function for the future. Okay,
Yeah.
so
I
like
mean, that's
our
true. So,
past, really took a hold on it. But you know what? We have all the power right now in our present to fix our future.
Hmm.
We do.
I have one thing that I actually do in order to, which I've been doing since off and on since I was 15, which is I write. So my writing helps me with a lot of things.
Yes, ma'am.
It helps me to understand. It helps me to look at things differently. So for me, instead of going and talking to somebody, that's my soothing. That's my comfort. That's what helps me.
That's good. I do recommend
So
journaling and writing and get it out. You know, because if you can mention it, you can manage it. You know, if you can write it down, it's no longer harmful in this brain of ours. So yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
recommend that to everybody. Get it out somehow. Like this. This is a good place to get it out. You know, people will come up with, you know, blogs, you know, video blogs, and you know, they write on, you know, all kinds of things on Facebook, and uh, so it's a good way. Find an outlet. Find an outlet.
Well, I think this has been
Right.
really therapeutic. I don't know about
It
y'all, but
has. It has.
I'm
I
feeling
really
good.
enjoyed it. I really
I'm
enjoyed it.
I'm
glad. I
glad you
like
came
it.
on, Miss Christia. Thank you.
Christina,
Well,
thank
I'm
you
glad I
for
could
coming on.
do it. I was a little late, but hey,
That's okay.
anytime.
You made up for that.
Thank
So
you. I'm
we
glad. Thank you,
appreciate
Miss
you.
Stein.
So how can we reach you, or if we needed to get in contact with you, or anybody that wants any of
Anybody
your
out there
services?
that's looking at
Anybody. I have a website, and it's bridges to crossroads at .com. Sorry, that's my website. And so you can go to my website. Also on here, I just launched it today. So you can follow my Bridges to Crossroads and counseling and consulting website. And I'll have daily things that I'm not daily, but weekly. I put up a newsletter like about depression, anxiety, you know, what's happening in my neighborhood, those things. So I try to keep it pretty current. And so
Okay.
Good.
I
Thank
can
you.
send that stuff. I can send it to Judy so she can, you know, give it to you guys and post it.
I
She's
sure
got
will.
my,
And
so
right now
you can
it's
just
at the
actually you
bottom
can
of the
just
screen for
type that
anybody
in
who's
there.
watching.
And you can just type it on there, and I put well, my name is on here, but let me put it in there on the bottom.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just posted it in there, and so y'all can go to that, and you can like send a text and stuff like that on there, and you'll get somebody to chat with you right away. It comes directly to my assistant, and she'll respond.
Okay.
Neat.
Well, I appreciate you for coming on, Christia. And it
Thanks
was
for having
always
me.
good seeing you. I love
It
chatting with
is.
you.
Yes,
And,
ma'am. Definitely a
everybody,
guest. Definitely welcome.
we will definitely have you back again.
I'd
Yes,
love to
ma'am.
come back.
All
I'd love to
right.
come back. Ladies,
Thank
go
you for coming on
be the
Straight
change
Talk.
out there. Be the change out
Thank
there.
you.
Yes. Be the change. All right, Miss
Bye.
Christia. See you later.
Ooh, guys, we needed that.
I
That
know.
was very therapeutic. Very
Y'all,
therapeutic.
it was almost like, when you go through it and you're dealing with it, and like me and Judy, we done went head to head about some of this stuff, but just sometimes hearing it from somebody else, maybe that's something. I don't
I
know,
was waiting on that.
huh?
Remember, Francis, I told you that I hate that
I
when
know.
it falls on deaf ears. But soon as they hear it from somebody else outside, oh, it's true. It's
It's
gospel.
not. It's almost like a light bulb. I don't know what it is. It's like a light bulb with clarity.
Maybe it's because I don't have the degree for a counselor. Maybe that's what it is.
No,
Oh.
Stop
no.
short. Stop throwing shade, Judy. Stop throwing shade.
I wouldn't be me if I didn't.
Oh shit!
Okay, I have a
This
question.
was
Think about
very,
this.
this was very therapeutic.
Wait a minute. Nate, think about this real quick. Just think of how much money I would have spent sending her to counseling.
Mm.
I'm
Just
the
listen to me
person,
the first-
God forbid, but I think we all need counseling because something in our past, present, or maybe in near future is it's gonna knock you off your whack, and you need that certain somebody that you can talk to. Now, do the counseling always have to be somebody you pay? No, it can be this very circle we're in, which is a sisterhood.
Amen.
We have created a sisterhood.
Yes,
Great
we
take,
have.
Nate.
I love
Great
it.
That's
I mean,
good.
don't get me wrong. I like her, and I think I would even call her, about some things in my past. And Francis, you hit it, girl, with your brother and everything that he did to your boyfriend. That put chills on me because there's certain things in my family that, in my mind, I done dealt with. Like, it is what it is. But that stuff does affect you with your parent when a person does not want to admit their fault. And they want you to just continue to come around like ice cream and cake, like it's okay, and it's not okay.
Yep.
it's not okay
Well,
because
you know what
go ahead.
like what I did was what I did was I knew that she blamed me. She blamed me for everything. It didn't even matter. I don't give a damn if I wasn't there when it happened. I'm the blame. So what I did was, in turn, when she called, I went to her. When the hospital called me and told me that she was in the hospital, they didn't know she was gonna make it. I went ahead and went. So when she opened her eyes, every time, and it has never failed, every time something has happened, and the minute she opened her eyes, guess who face she see?
That was me for my dad.
She has to deal with the fact that, damn, no matter how much pain I've caused her, damn, she's always here. But I draw the line on a lot of things. When I feel like it's a bunch of BS, I'm not gonna deal with it. Now, the fact that she was in the hospital and she needed it for her children, so of course I'm the oldest, the first one they call is me. I get a hold of my other sister and we go handle that. After that, I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? But for you, Tanya, it's like she was telling you about the Stockholm syndrome, which I learned that in my CJ class. Okay, like we were saying, if you continue to give him the reins, he's going to keep driving. Point blank. He's gonna keep doing it because he knows it gets to you. Remember what you told me the other day when me and you had the talk, and you told me, you said that the things that you did about the messages and all that, and you would delete them and hide them and so forth.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you got to the point where you just leave them there.
Yeah.
Guess what? Leave them there. Leave them there. Because it eventually, even though Judy's been here all these years, eventually you dealing with that, you don't want it to end up coming back. And Lord knows y'all done been through a lot, and y'all probably, and it probably can't. You know what I'm saying? But for you as her mate, I would say let him go. You're not forgetting that he's your dad. You're not forgetting that he, you know what I'm saying, he has some feelings and, you know, raising you. That's not what you're forgetting. But I guess, like she was saying, you have to have, you know, you got to have that cutoff point to where he has to know that it don't get to you no more. Because once he realizes that it don't get to you no more, he gonna be like, damn, I can't have fun today. You know, I mean, it's
sad.
And Judy,
It
seems like it never stops.
Yeah, but you know, yeah, really, Judy.
He's the one that needs to go get some counseling.
Judy?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh yeah, most definitely. What did you mean earlier? You said you thought I was asking for me as far as like releasing the pain.
Well, I do believe that you have a problem with forgiving people. Not forgiving people, but releasing whatever you're going through. Releasing. I think that you, like you said earlier, you said that you felt like Tanya was afraid to forgive because how it would make her feel. I think that's you. I just do. I think you have a hard time with forgiving people.
And maybe not just
I learned that a long time ago.
Hey, I can. Why did it take so long? Why did it take so long for you to reach out to me?
For me to reach out to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I told you there was an incident where I felt, because I felt like I disappointed you.
Okay. So that all I was asking.
Because of the situation.
I just thought maybe you were asking for yourself.
Are you saying?
No. See, since me and Judy, since me and Judy done got back in contact with each other, there are some things that me and Judy has yet to talk about. And Judy had no idea that the extent of my forgiveness for Carolyn, that it even happened because we hadn't talked about it.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It's anything that I've dealt with now. That's why I don't have a problem talking about it, because it's
Well, I'm happy.
not
I'm happy
no
that
longer.
you have forgiven her. I'm happy that you've forgiven her, because I know in your
Oh
past
yeah,
you were reluctant. You didn't want to forgive her back in the day. So I'm glad you finally crossed the bridge.
man, I'm finna tell you, when back in the day, I kid you not, Judy, I had a dream. Remember that house that was on the hill that we stayed in, that white house, where
Yes.
Trees came out with that butcher knife?
Yes.
While we were living in that house, I had a dream one night that we had a little shed in the back, that I followed Carolyn to that shed and shot her.
Mm. Mm.
And after that, I knew I was in trouble then. I was like, That's just around the same time I found out that I was damn near dead and didn't even know it. After that, when my dad came and got us and we moved to Abilene, from there I ended up in girls' homes, group homes, juvenile detention. Well on into my adulthood, when I forgave Carol, it was simply when, I think, the very first time that they called me and she was in the hospital. It wasn't this last time. That was like some years ago, when I got a call that she was in the hospital. And the first thing I did, I picked up, rushed down there. And right before that, I had told my uncle, told my auntie, I said, if I get that call that they found her in a ditch on the side of the road, I will be at ease, because at least I know where she's at.
That's
I used to
horrible.
always say that.
That's horrible.
Yeah, I used to say it is, and I used to say that often. But we had got to the point to where me and my sister had got so tired of looking for her, searching for her. Every time we enter town, we enter Dallas County, we're on the south side of Dallas looking for her, on the west side of Dallas looking for her. You know what I'm saying? She is laid up, strung out. I got tired of looking. So I told my aunt, if I get that call that they done found her on the side of the road in the ditch, we'll bury her next to her mom, which is my grandmother, and at least I won't have to look for her no more. At least I know where she's at, and at least when I want to see her, I can go see her. That's exactly what I told my uncle now.
You know what? I got a question, and I know it's kind of maybe a little off topic, but it's, Francis, you said that your mama was doing, I guess, some kind of type of drugs, right? Cynthia, you mentioned that your mama has also. My daddy alcoholic. Judy, okay. So what I want to know is, at any point when you witnessed a lot of that, growing up with all of that, seeing all of that, did you feel as an adult that it affected you and made you want to go down that path also?
Hell no.
I mean, as far as trying, I'm saying, as far as trying the drugs, trying the alcohol, finding yourself going down the path.
No, I know this is real talk, and whoever see this, please don't take this out of hand. I've seen some drugs in my life with my family and friends, and it's certain shit that I will not tolerate. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh wow!
No. I don't want to try no crack. I don't want to try no coke. I don't want to try no heroin. I don't want to. Now I pop pills. I've been popping pills all my life because of my seizure pills. So I can't dispute that. And I done smoked the little herbs. Let me put that out there. I done smoked the little herbs, and I done sipped on some drink. Now I will say this, since we're living in our truth. When my mom passed, I turned into a stone cold alcoholic. Just because it wasn't a hard drug, alcohol is a drug.
Yeah.
Alcohol is definitely a drug. Baby, I could cook you a steak so goddamn good and be drunk, okay? Look.
Who
I
gave her
could
the
cook
mic?
you a pot of pinto beans, bitch, and put a little burr in it.
Somebody please take the mic.
But because my parents
Don't
chose
go to
that
bed.
road,
Take the mic.
because my parents chose that road with drugs. You know, no, I ain't never gonna try to sniff no gas. No, 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 ma'am.
We got
No,
you,
ma'am.
sister. We got you. Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Judy, what about you, girl?
Ooh.
Shit.
What was the question? I didn't got lost. Woo, with all
Well,
that.
I'm saying, have any, witnessing the drugs and the alcohol or whatever when you're younger, did you find yourself going down that path at all, as you became an adult or, at any point?
Well, I have to say, I never seen my mom do any drugs. Never. My daddy, he wasn't a drinker and he didn't do any drugs. Now, my mama, she was a drinker, but no, it didn't lead me to it. I've always lived my life to look at the negative things that I saw and I say, no matter what, I will not take that path. I don't care what it takes. I'm not going down that path.
Yeah.
And even with my siblings, I seen the mistakes that they made before me because I'm the baby.
Yep.
And I said, I don't want that life. I don't want it. And I remember the first time that I did try weed. Never tried it no more.
Girl, it's herbs.
Because EMS was in the living room. Everybody over me. I thought I was already dead and gone. I thought I checked out. I sure did. They talking about what? She said her heart is racing. Yes, I was. It's not for me. No drugs for me. I can't do it. So no, I've always been my own leader. Never have I. Never. And never will I, by the grace of God, ever become a follower.
Nope. Yes, Lord.
Oh, yes, that's Lord. Right. Francis?
Drinking. I ain't never been really a drinker. My daddy and them drank every day. I didn't like the smell of that. Tried marijuana. And I'll take one highest. Can't handle it. I remember one time I did try. Yes, I did try with some ice. I snorted it. I told my homegirl, bitch, no.
What did you call it?
I'm not the one. It's called ice.
What's that?
It's like
you tried. Did you say you tried ice?
But what is it?
Oh my God! Wait a minute. Let me address the blonde up here in the corner, y'all. Sorry. What is it? What is it? Blonde. It is. It's pure cocaine.
Oh, okay.
You got it?
No.
Good. No. Okay. Continue, Francis. Go ahead.
No, it's not pure cocaine.
Uncut.
Ice. No. Ice looks like ice. It's clear. You could smoke it, you could shoot it, or you could snort it.
So is it not
me?
Not cocaine?
Me? No.
So me? Wait a minute. What? You should just
let her get it out. Let her get it out.
You don't know how to roll with stuff sometimes. Now you got to make me look like I don't know what I'm talking about.
we know about your face.
Go ahead. Okay, enough of me. Go ahead.
No.
Okay. So, what I did was
we fooling with gangsters on the cool. Go ahead.
I had crushed it up and I snorted it. That was the first and the last time I ever did that. When I did that, it was at the time that the situation that happened with my kids. Then after that, the one thing that I did do, and I did that like periodically, which was coke.
Oh wow.
Do you feel like? Did you? Well, I mean, it wasn't nothing that. I feel like even though everybody has went through a little phase or whatnot, and just so I can throw in mine, yes, I had a few. Not when I was younger, but as I got older, I wanted to test the water. Well, this is on my list of shit to try. I want to try some weed, or that ain't for me. And now I want a couple bad patches, so I was drinking a lot or whatever. But now that y'all have,
we both was laid out on the bed looking up at the ceiling, talking about, girl, I can't come off the ceiling. I can't come down. Help me down. I said, will milk cure this? Will milk bring us down? We ain't never doing this shit no more.
Okay.
You and your great ideas, talking about stuff on your bucket list, like to burst my heart.
I said, well, that's off the bucket list. We've done that.
Yeah.
But
Let me give y'all something.
There's one thing that I am thankful for. In the midst of dealing with all that, I never got hooked on anything.
That's what I was just about to say. Everybody has tried their different levels of stuff, but we, yeah.
Yo, I don't know if my tolerance was too high and I couldn't, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't let myself go there. And I always kept in mind, I was only a product of Carolyn, that I was not Carolyn.
Yep.
So I was like, nah, I'm good. So.
Well, y'all, how y'all,
I enjoyed everybody tonight.
Yes.
I'm glad we got Miss Rogers to come in and talk to us. And I'm going to leave everybody her information on my page. And I'll to y'all directly so y'all can get in contact with her, because I believe we all could use some counseling. And she's really good, really good. She's been doing it for a long time now. She's been in business for many, many years. So I'm going to send that information over to you guys. Anybody, anything else you would like to say before we get out of here?
Francis, you got a quote for us? Oh, Cynthia, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Francis.
No, please, by all means, go ahead.
I just want to, even though this is our second show, we're going to slowly get better and greater as time go on. I just want everybody to stay encouraged, no matter if we get the ratings or not. And I mean, we don't need nobody to validate who we are, like we said in the first show. As long as we keep pushing forward and keep being strong for each other as a sisterhood, there's no limits to where we can go.
That's
Amen.
right.
I claim the name of Jesus. Hallelujah.
There's no limits to where we can go. And we're going to get these t-shirts. We're going to get these t-shirts and launch them, because we can take this as far as our mind can go.
Amen.
All right. Thank everybody for tuning in. Again, thank you. It's been a pleasure of mine. I enjoyed it. We'll be back again on Thursday with more straight talk.
Bye, y'all.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Talk, no BS.